personally, I'm kind of in limbo with this. On the surface, I could see some good because you want to be diplomatic with all these countries. But if I'm a country, if I'm Kim Jong Un, and I know and I've been watching America and how America moves historically, how it deals with other countries, I ain't giving up nothing. I might tell you, I might throw 2 or 3 in the garbage can, but I'm keeping some in the chamber because if you go and you give up all your stuff, you butt naked. You done made yourself vulnerable for the takeover. But anyway, at any rate, my personal opinion, but Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un have had a meeting, possibly opening up the communication channels, and this is maybe labeled as a historic moment. Do you believe it? Do you believe that this is real, or is this just photo op? Is this optics, or is this something with some real substance to it?
I don't know.
Me neither.
What I do, so I leave that Kim. I like to say his name, Kim Jong Un. I like to say that. So I leave that the political side of everything to the talking heads. Shout out to cousin Angela Rye, hot take professional. Shout out to Don Lemon and Chris Kumo and Anderson Cooper and everybody on MSNBC. They know what's best.
The political analyst.
The political analyst. Shout out to them. What I found interesting about this whole story and what I would like to discuss is how the role that Dennis Rodman played in this entire meeting. Who knew?
Another celebrity.
Another celebrity. He's appeared on The Apprentice, so he previously had ties with 45. He became good friends with Kim Jong Un, and I found it interesting because I kind of watched some of the commentary on CNN during the meeting between 45 and Kim Jong Un, and they interviewed Dennis Rodman, who we'll talk about here in a second. But they also interviewed some of the former intelligence, CIA leads, and one of them said, James Clapper basically said that the most intel or the closest relationship that the United States has with Kim Jong Un is with Dennis Rodman.
Damn.
And so I find that interesting because world peace is at the hands, not only between 45 and Kim Jong Un, but the guy that's in the middle is Dennis Rodman. If you remember, Dennis Rodman wore a dress once before for publicity and for commentary. But who would ever thought, BG? I went and pulled up the 96 Bulls. That team was 72-10.
Mm-hmm. One of the greatest teams of all time.
The greatest team of all time, in my opinion. And if you look at that roster, who would have thought that Dennis Rodman would be the most political savvy, in tune with what's going on in the world and trying to work between world peace? Who would ever thought that would be Dennis Rodman? If you look at this roster, you got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Ron Harper, Luke Longley, Steve Kerr, Bill Winnington, Randy Brown, John Sally, James Edwards, Dennis Rodman.
And Phil Jackson as a coach. And of all those people, Dennis Rodman ended up being the one. I wouldn't have.
What does that say? What does that say about the times that we in when you have a guy like Dennis Rodman had a very passionate, for those that have not seen his interview with Chris Kumo on CNN where he got very passionate. He basically said that, he's received death threats. President Obama didn't take him seriously. He advocated for Kim Jong-un. basically said that all this guy wants to do is come over to the United States and see an NBA basketball game. Uh, you know, forget about all of the. I mean, what we've been told in the media is
Yeah,
that Kim Jong Un is
a bad guy.
essentially he's a bad guy. He's killing his own citizens, and he's basically putting down the. Basically, he's just killing everybody. Is what we hear. Dennis Rodman is telling us he's a good guy. All he wanted to do is come over and see an NBA game, see the Wizards play, see LeBron play.
What
What's that to say? Where
what
are
is
we
it?
at?
What
What's
what
going on?
what is it? What is it if it's really what if it's really that simple? There's a twisted, I guess, beauty that potentially rests in this. What if it is that this guy just wants an opportunity to see an NBA game, to have a talk with an American diplomat on something outside of this stuff that creates the dialogue that's needed to be diplomatic? I'll just keep using that word. What if it's that simple?
What Dennis Rodman is arguing is that he just wants to be a player, and that he's been isolated from all of the major countries. He just wants to be a player, and was and with the major players on the globe. I'm not speaking on. I don't know the politics behind this. I'm not a political expert. I'm not a political junkie. From that standpoint, uh, I can't verify or deny that he's over there killing his own citizens, which is what's being reported. But to the point that you're making, what if it is that he just wants to attend the game? I don't know.
Yeah, that don't get me wrong. Like there is some things you can look at North Korea's history where they have done some ill things to their own citizens. But what country is free of that? America ain't free of that. You know what I mean? For whatever is going at that moment, whatever is the consensus of that country, anybody that's not in consensus with this overall thing is punished in some form of fashion. We see that in every country. So, that shouldn't be like the determining factor of where this guy and his country sits on the, just in world relations. So you take that out and you get back to this. I think there is something to this whole thing that we're seeing, especially in this moment in time, and it may have something to do with how close we are now because of the advancements in technology and social media. But we saw it with Donald Trump. All of the high-level, high-thinking people said Donald Trump don't stand a chance. He don't do this. He don't do that. Donald Trump becomes the president. Simple. That's the simple choice. Donald Trump, because he spoke some type of language to certain type of people. Kim Kardashian, she go and out of the blue. Okay, Kim Kardashian. We know about Kim Kardashian being involved in prison reform for all of 1 week, and in her 1 week's worth of work, a person gets free from a life sentence. Dennis Rodman starts going over to North Korea on the basis of basketball. He go over there and have some basketball exhibitions and all of that. Develops some type of relationship with Kim Jong Un. Has a relationship with Donald Trump, and then these two break precedents and end up meeting. Now, if okay, so my thing is all conditional. If this mess around and all of the things that we've been trying to accomplish for the last 20, 30 years with relationships with North Korea break because of this meeting, what do we say then? Does that cut the legs out of all these intellectuals, all these people who've been in post for all these years that are supposedly an authority on world relations? Does this remove them and make room for you and I to get more involved? The common man to become a bigger player in some of these decisions and moves that we thought were just above our level of thinking, because at the end of the day, it comes down to just being individuals, human beings with their own things that drive them, and they just so happen to be in these positions.
The only thing that bothers and concerns me is, do these people really know what they're doing? And when you kind of get in bed with someone that uh, from what we've been told, that has this history and that has done some of the things that they've done. Um, do these people that you just speak of,
Right.
do they know what they're doing? Are we being played, or is it really just that simple?
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know.
That is the
And only
dilemma.
time will tell. And only time will tell. So I think that the next few months and years, especially the next 2 years, it's gonna be interesting. I know that 45 is interested in his ego. There was from what I've read and what I've seen, one of the congressmen um, kind of submitted him to be Time People of the Year, Time Magazine People of the Year, for essentially sitting down with Kim Jong Un and trying to promote world peace. So this is an attempt, I believe, at him winning that award. But
Yeah.
what's the long term results, or what's the long term effects of that meeting? Time will tell.